Today they updated the visual recoil on weapons. I have some side-by-sides for you so you can kind of see exactly what they changed. Some of the things are a little bit more noticeable than others, so we'll kind of go through what they were looking to change. And we'll look at the various changes and we'll go ahead and kind of compare and contrast. Overall, I like the direction that they're going with the visual recoil. I think a lot of people, the gold standard for visual recoil is MW 2019. That game had tons of flaws, but the way it felt when you aimed in a gun, shot the gun, and way it looked was probably the best. So hopefully they're getting just closer to that. I still think there's little strides they can make towards that, but I think they've made huge leaps with this current update. So for whatever reason, Warzone didn't get its own section. You can see right here, weapon, multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone. It looks like we have taken a comprehensive pass on weapon motion and applied reductions across the board to improve combat experience depending on the weapon class. Our target for these reductions range from 30% up to 75%. Players will notice far more stability while turning, moving, and changing stances, and firing, especially while ADS. This is specifically the crosshair when you strafe. Before it would do like this weird, I'm exaggerating, it would do this weird lean. Now it's pretty fixed. When you still jump, it still moves because that's kind of what happens. The same thing happened in MW 2019. But you're getting far less visual shake when you're actually moving and just strafing in a gunfight, which is normally what you do, even with an optic at range, especially on controller to activate that aim assist. So I think this could be good visually because then your crosshairs are where you're actually aiming, which is one of the biggest problems currently or what recently with the game is that when you move, your crosshairs are doing a dance into the air and it's like, okay, I hope my bullets are going where they're supposed to. We are committed to continually improving Black Ops 6 gunplay with a focus on balance and rewarding gameplay while maintaining the unique characteristics of each weapon. So I don't think this will be the last time they fix these things. I think there's certain other things that people will be upset about or complain about or point or direct information towards, and then they'll go ahead and continue to improve those things because I think at the end of the day, they just want a game that's fun to play for all peripherals and just to be able to see where you're at. It just feels smooth, more snappy, because a lot of that stuff, although it is more realistic, it just leads to your characters feeling sluggish. Reduced visual recoil on all weapons, especially full auto. Reduced turn sway on all weapons, especially on higher magnifications. Reduced gun kick on higher magnification optics except for snipers. Reduced default idle sway on all weapons except sniper rifles. Further reduced idle sway while firing on all weapons except sniper rifles. Reduced weapon motion, bob, translation, and additional idle sway penalties as a result of walking or changing stances. I think this one's the most noticeable. And then removed additional layer of hip fire deviation, which caused crosshair to bounce while firing. And I think this is just more of the hip firing. I don't have pre-footage, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that one probably. Aiming idle sway delay is a mechanic that scales weapons idle sway when first entering ADS. And this is to do with that thing where wherever your center dot is, when you aim down sight, your crosshairs are exactly there, or your reticle right when you aim down sight. That's the way it should be. But previously there was an update that added an MW2 and then MW3 fixed it, and then this reverted it, and now they're fixing it again. You're getting to the point where basically it does a figure 8, right? When you're aim down sight. Well, with this ADS mechanic, pretty much the dot was right here, then you aim down sight and your aim would be over there. Then you aim down sight, your aim would be over there, depending on where it was in that idle sway pattern. This helps to reduce that or remove it so that when you aim down sight, your bullets are going, or your crosshairs on your reticle will be aligned with where your crosshairs were. These values are now improved and consistent across all weapon classes. Sniper rifles, which previously only scaled initial idle sway by 50%, now provide a complete reduction. As always, we'll be keeping a close eye on sniper balance after this change. So quick scoping should be a little bit easier because when you're aiming down sight, if your centering's good, you should be able to get there. Obviously, that's more of a multiplayer thing because a lot of people aren't quick scoping necessarily in Warzone. Aiming idle sway. So now it's default 2.2 seconds on all weapons. And this was particularly noticeable if any of you guys were doing your zombies camos. You'd go do your Deadshot Daiquiri Easter egg where you had to shoot the little cans. If you didn't have idle sway on, your gun is doing this. Well, now you get the 2 seconds, un-ADS, re-ADS, and it'll go ahead and reset that. Aiming idle sway delay on sniper rifles now fully removes idle sway rather than reducing by 50%. So that's a huge one. And then target laser now improves aiming idle sway up to 2.9 seconds on all weapons. So this was the default before, I think, with the target laser, 2.2, and now it's up to 2.9. So you get about, what, 0.7 seconds there. Then there's some multiplayer changes to weapons. These don't impact Warzone. Warzone will get its own patch notes. They haven't updated those, so we'll cover those when those come. So here's some of the side-by-side I recorded with about 5 different weapons, 6 different weapons, so you'll be able to see them for yourself. You can kind of see that the crosshairs, like right here, you can see that this little ring on the optic is shaking much more. If we look at this, I'm sure we're going to see these for the pattern of multiple weapons. This one's doing a little bit more violent shake, significantly reduced. So we'll go ahead and play that out so you can see multiple weapons. Definitely more subtle. There's still a shake, obviously. It's not completely gone, but it is significantly less and a little bit easier to manage. That one doesn't look quite as big of a difference. A little bit more. Yeah, that one you can see it's a little bit more softer shake. Way softer on this one. Look at that. Look at that difference on the was this Krieg? I don't remember what gun I put here. Holy, that one is significant. No, this one's the Krieg. Okay, not as big a difference on that one, it didn't feel like. Than the sniper. So what you're looking for is how soon they start the idle sway. They're still going to idle sway, but how long it takes. So let's go ahead and go here, and we'll go ahead and see those. So idle sway. And it looks mostly similar. I had the laser on both. Okay, so here's the mobility stuff that I wanted to do side-by-side comparison on. I recorded this before and then I tried to like mirror it. So it's not perfect by any means, but I tried as best I could to kind of mirror it. So you kind of get a little bit of a look of kind of what's going on. They mainly look the same because I think it was when firing how much of the impact is on that. But you can kind of see those are pretty similar. Here's where they get different. So you can see that the crosshairs turn a little bit more on the left one compared to center. Obviously, it's still happening. In game, it doesn't really feel it. It's like if you didn't have those crosshairs visible, like the little yellow line that I have there, you wouldn't be able to really tell. So you can see that the left one is bouncing way more and the right one's not so much. The jump, still about the same on that side. You can see about the crosshairs, about the same. So, yeah, definitely this ADS one, you notice it. Look at how much these numbers are moving on the left versus the right. So if we go back a little bit. You can see it pretty clearly. Let's go look at that again. Just focus on the numbers and you'll see the big difference. So you see how much those are like, ooh, and then that's gonna get clipped. And then basically these ones don't even move. That's the part that's moving and versus not moving. So they definitely fixed some of that, and you can see that visually that's not gonna happen as much. Hopefully they dial in a little bit more of the optic bob, because the reticle doesn't look like it's moving too much in these scenarios. I think the actual visual gun shake is the next thing they probably got to tune a little bit more. I'm glad they keep moving in the right direction. Let me know what are your guys' thoughts. Do you guys notice the difference, or are you liking the direction? Do you like the more realistic? Do you like the little bit more snappy feel where you can actually see what you're shooting? Let me know in the comment section. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.